Before we get started, let's get somewhat personal here. I have a question for you all, and there's a reason I'm asking this. Have you ever met someone so incredibly interesting? You don't know what it is that caught your attention, but they have it. Anytime they smile, anytime they cry, anytime something hits them emotionally, it hits you emotionally as well. But you're confused, because they also bother you in so many ways. They do things that you don't agree with. You're so interested in this person, but you're also admitting that there's no good reason to be. All you can do is trust your intuition that one day, the mystery behind why this person is so interesting will all make sense. No? Just me? Well, anyway, that's how I felt about Mikasa Ackerman from Attack on Titan. The mysterious Mikasa Ackerman all came together for me in the end to straight up make a video essay on how, after all my curiosity, she ended up being my favorite fictional character of all time. Why was she a mystery? Did she bother me while watching the anime? If so, why did I root for her? How long did it take to realize that she is my favorite fictional character of all time, you may ask? To me, I would say Mikasa became my favorite fictional character of all time because of these three things. 1. The mystery and tense buildup. 2. She has a justified motive, yet develops very well. And 3. She helped me grow and evolve. All of course started out with reason number 1 in the mystery and tense buildup. And I sort of teased this already to start the video. But when it comes to fictional characters, most of the time, it's easy for me to understand why I love and root for them, or maybe root against them. For example, Eren Yeager would be my second favorite Attack on Titan character, and before Season 4, I actually considered him my favorite Attack on Titan character. Why? Easy. Because when I first started watching the anime, it was during a time where I also had fire and determination to get my biggest dreams done, but I needed more help than I thought to get there in the first place. Just like how Eren had fire and determination to kill the Titans, but he needed lots of help to mature up and become a warrior. He's an interesting character to try and understand, but in the end, I don't think I agree with his decisions once Season 4 rolled around. Mikasa Ackerman, on the other hand, was a character I could not quite understand. Her main goal is to protect Eren and be with him. Okay, but honestly, it kind of triggered me. Not to get super personal out of the clear blue, but the reason it bothered me is because Mikasa was doing exactly what I didn't like from my previous real-life relationships. I came from relationships where I felt like I was their main source of happiness. They have separation anxiety when I'm gone. They don't have any motives for themselves. Their main goal is to just live a life with me. And I didn't like that. I wanted to find someone that finds happiness, peace, and motives even if I'm not there. To find something to do with and without me. And I'm probably horrible for low-key calling them out like that, but I'm just saying, it was mostly why I got triggered over Mikasa's actions. I kept thinking, oh my goodness, she needs to leave Eren alone. She's simping. She doesn't care about herself. She's horribly written. I think her cult personality also bothered me a bit. It felt like she was just kind of selfish at times, not caring about anyone but Eren, and maybe a few others like Armin. She knew she was stronger than others, but she didn't quite care about herself either. I felt like she was just kind of there on the battlefield because Eren was. The amount of times I got asked from my brother, his fiance, and even myself on my thoughts on Mikasa was very consistent. It was always, yeah, Mikasa is strong and courageous, but she better find some motives for herself, otherwise I'll consider her terribly written. But despite all my complaints, for those that have seen my first ever Attack on Titan video essay, remember when I said I had some type of intuition feeling with her? In that video, I tried to explain why Eren and Mikasa are my two favorite Attack on Titan characters, but I had some trouble explaining why I root for her. I never even explained my complaints I had with her. All I could really say was that I just felt emotion with her anytime she had a big moment. And I'll say it once more. Even though she bothered me, she also interested me. If she cried, I also felt sad. If she was angry, I also felt angry. I wanted her to pull through and survive whatever situation she was going through. As the anime kept progressing, I was always excited to see her. Anytime she appeared on screen, I was smiling. I was anticipating what she'll do next. And as a big romance fan myself, I was really hoping Mikasa would finally say her true feelings to Eren and they'd end up together. So basically, I was hoping that in the end, Mikasa was gonna at least live in peace. My intuition was always telling me that I need to stay patient with her till the end, and it'll all make sense as to why I root for Mikasa, despite how angry she makes me. Of course, I'm an impatient bastard and kept trying to stay up at night trying to figure this out. Like, after every single night I watched Attack on Titan, I tried to figure it out. And sometimes even if I didn't watch it, did I just appreciate how strong and courageous she is? Do I secretly like that she's super protective of Eren? Maybe I'm just kind of admitting she's cute. I don't know. I really wanted to know. But my gut feeling was telling the truth. I really did have to wait till the end to figure this out. The final episode of Attack on Titan made me stay up the longest thinking about this, and yes, I even cried. When the anime ended, I remember asking, why am I left kind of satisfied, yet sort of down? Because the final episode was great, but I wasn't sure if Mikasa lived in peace or not. And yes, I get the anime doesn't show everything the manga does, but what I'm overall trying to say is, the fact that I was wondering, did Mikasa ever get married? Why did she possibly get buried next to Eren? Whatever happened to her after Eren wrapped her scarf one last time? It showed me that I did care about her, and because I cared about her, I tried to understand her. Which leads into the second reason being, she has a justified motive, yet develops very well. Let's learn a little bit about her backstory. Her main motive is to protect Eren, and I wish I had fit her shoes a little more. It's easy for me to say she's a simp and all that, but I also took this time to realize, what would I have done if I saw my parents get murdered in front of my young eyes? If I was attempted to be sold by traffickers? If the world I live in isn't as easy as opening up my laptop, type this out, and get a good night's sleep afterwards, but rather wake up with fear, wondering if mutant titans are about to wreak more havoc, and about the only thing I can do is fight back. Mikasa lives in that cruel world. Her cult personality makes sense. She can't trust many people because, well, why should she? About the only person that uplifted her during a time of crisis was Eren. She's for one thing not focused on romance and meeting other men at this time, but two, especially at a young age, I would also continuously keep wanting to see him. You know why she's constantly trying to protect him? Because her source of happiness almost always gets himself in trouble. Eren was very, risk-taking, to say the least. And if that's all she basically had growing up that made her happy, what? Do you think she should have just let Eren join the military alone and hope he makes it out alive in a seemingly impossible mission, while Mikasa just has to stay here alone at a young age with no idea how to fight back against the Titans? No, I don't think so. Her source of happiness told her to fight back anyway. That's about all she really knew how to do at a young age. Overall, I'm basically saying her love for Eren is completely justified, and her motive to protect him makes sense. And even though it can all make sense, life must still go on. She still has to grow and learn, right? Does she? The good news is, yes. In fact, she matures and grows up very well. As the anime progresses, you start to see her open up her cult mind and heart to more friends. She becomes friends with Sasha, and she learns to find a bit of happiness from her. She looks up to Levi and Hanji and relies heavily on them to help her out in battle, while also not losing sight of her main goal, protect Eren. She even learns to have a bit of fun and have a good laugh at times. She's learning that there is goodness in this cruel world. But perhaps the biggest form of growth from Mikasa is she starts to not only see the bigger picture in her world, but also in her source of happiness, Eren. Now, going over how Eren evolved is for a different time. Point is, Mikasa goes through an inner battle. Everyone is constantly going at her and saying how much Eren is not who she thinks he is, that he's a threat to humanity. The only way to save him and the world is to kill him. It's good to see that Mikasa has made more connections and smiled a bit more, but she has a major conflict come her way. Her main motive in protecting Eren is now in jeopardy. Eren's continuously making moves that she doesn't agree with, but yet she's trying to understand him. She's trying to make others understand him. She refuses to believe that her one and only Eren Yeager is the danger to humanity. I mean, honestly, I can't even imagine how hard that is to process. Really think about a life in where your lover, is the most dangerous threat to the world. Everyone's constantly telling you that he or she needs to die so there can be peace. Isn't that heartbreaking? Her source of happiness and peace needs to die in order for the world to feel happiness and peace? It broke my heart seeing Mikasa reflect back on what Eren taught her over the years. She then starts to wonder if Eren's even a good person. Why does she love him so much? Is he who she thinks he is? What's heartbreaking for us to know that Mikasa doesn't is she never truly knew that Eren did love her. All she knows is Eren's final words for her was, "I hate you." Ouch. Why? Why would Eren say such a thing? She remembers Eren as a good person that cares for her and others. Eren's out here fighting for the greater good. He wrapped the iconic red scarf around her. But suddenly, Eren decides to not only wipe away humanity with all the power he's got, but also to just come out and say, he hates you? Especially noting that Mikasa's one goal in life was to protect him. That's what she gets in return? She clearly was hurt by it, as she chose not to wear her scarf for a period of time. Thankfully, she learns a ton in her journey and sees the bigger picture in Eren and also in the world. But you know what else she does that I and most others probably used to complain about? She does make her own decisions. Her decision in the end, despite always trying to save Eren, is to accept Eren for who he is. Accept that she'll never get the old Eren back, that her life and others need peace as well. We live in a world where it's hard for us humans to look past our loved ones' faults, and sometimes to simply move on from them for our greater good. But Mikasa is a strong enough woman to do what's right for her own inner peace. It obviously wasn't easy to kill Eren, but she did it. Her own decision is also to never forget Eren, to break his promise of forgetting about him, to continue to wrap that iconic red scarf around her, to love him, kiss him, and visit him. That's a hard thing to do after Eren shattered her heart into millions of pieces. Why would Mikasa continue to love him anyway? Well, that leads into the final reason being she helped me grow and evolve. The anime ending made me put together all that I love about Mikasa Ackerman, but it wasn't without figuring out the lessons she taught me first. The first one in being, before you judge someone's motives and personality, try to fit their shoes. Try to understand them. Now, that's way easier said than done, but it's worth practicing. Second being, no matter how cruel your life may get, making connections is key. You can't fight alone. There are good people in this world, and they need peace as well. Third being, look at the bigger picture. Not just with the world you live in, but in your loved ones. If they shatter your heart into millions of pieces and try to commit a mass murder essentially, will you be blind to that? Will you see past the version you view your lover as? And 4 being, make sure you have peace as well. I think Mikasa continuing to love Eren after all that he's done, yet also kill him, was love for herself as well. If she had just allowed Eren to do what he did, that just would have been pretty bad on her part. But she learned and grew up. She knows she needs inner peace as well. And if that involves moving on from Eren, then so be it. But even if that needed to happen, what's the use in holding in a grudge? She should be upset with him after making actions that she doesn't agree with, for trying to kill the world basically, for shattering her heart into millions of pieces and hating her after all that she's done for him. But what good would it do for her to just hate him back? If she didn't try to protect Eren after all those years, she wouldn't have been where she's at now. She also knows that Eren did do good things for her. He did teach her valuable lessons. Why forget that? Why forget him? Move on from him, but also love him and forgive him. That sounds like a mature woman to me. There's other things that I think would just take too much extra time to explain. I didn't go over how I feel like there's actually some pretty cool cliffhangers for her to think about as well. What if she did say her true feelings to Eren that one night? Did she ever get married after Eren died? What truly happened to her after all those events? I get that the anime doesn't include everything from the manga, by the way, it's just fun to think about. Point is, it looks like my intuition feeling was right. I knew it makes sense one day as to why Mikasa would end up being a character I love. But even better, she ended up being my favorite fictional character of all time. I'm proud of the way she grew up and for staying strong no matter what happens. And you know what? I'm 25 years old. I did always pray that I learn how to mature up and live in the real world. This was all just perfect timing. You don't always have to learn from experiences or other people. Sometimes, you can learn valuable lessons from an anime girl. And I think that is a damn cool story. Thank you, Mikasa Ackerman, for inspiring me and giving me one cool story. And thank you, Attack on Titan, for creating one of the best fictional characters to ever appear on both screens and through pages of a manga.